At the second half is Wadsworth 34, Strongsville nothing. And Brian, first half statistics. It had to be a domination score as well as stats by Wadsworth.
All the scoring took place in the second quarter. Our score at the end of the first quarter was 0-0. And then 34 points scored in the second quarter by Wadsworth. A variety of ways of doing it, but it all comes down to one man, Jim Reynolds, doing a lot of the scoring. Good offensive play by Reynolds. Great blocking and running by his fullback, Don McGill. Good offensive line blocking. Some turnovers by Strongsville, some problems they had. A fumble led to some of the problems. Then an interception by the deep back, and it added up to 34-0 at the end of the quarter. We'll get some of the individual stats as the third quarter develops. But right now, the Grizzlies are ready to kick off, and here's Mike Massa.
Thank you, Brian. And that was John Lutz loosening up that leg as he's going to be kicking for Wadsworth. He's going to be kicking off to Moscow, Shido, and Reg. This is Moscow, and his knee hit right at the 15-yard line. And as you mentioned before, Brian, they're coming up and running. The kicks are short. So they're trying to take it on a run and not working too successfully.
Yeah, the kicks have been a little bit short. They line up deep. They come up. They're not under control. Again, that time they didn't get anything out of their kickoff return.
First half stats, Brian.
Okay, Wadsworth, 10 first downs, 2 for Strongsville. You can see the difference here. The big one in the rushing yardage, 141-26 as they're ready for action.
And the Mustangs have got to get on the scoreboard now. Just power running. Coming right up is Yonker. Paul Yonker, one of the halfbacks. They'll be alternating. Moscow 34, Ross to 33, and Yonker 24 to halfback spots. Number 34 you're looking at is Joe Moscow. And there again the statistics, Brian, and look at the time of possession.
Time of possession, and the big thing is that last one, the bottom line when you come to it, 34 zip, end of the half.
And look at the spread formation with the line splits that now that Strongsville is using. Second down. This power football straight up the middle. Everyone lost him, including our cameraman. Oh, Yonker. Just big, quick hit, but a flag has been thrown. Don Hoey brought him down.
And begins the offense.
Call it an illegal motion against the Mustangs. That's the best offensive play they've had in the entire ball game. We are just about 50 seconds into the second half.
Motion out on the flanker on the far side.
There's going to be all the way back to the original line of scrimmage. Now it's just inside the 15.
Illegal motion, 40.
And that is going to be the flanker, Tom Fronick. So it'll be a second, let's call it 11. Again, one end split, flanker to the near side, end split to the far side. Wilson's got some room in front of him. He wants to tuck it in, turn it upfield, and does. Picked up about 4 yards. Good defense in the secondary for Wadsworth. Brad King finally brought down Guy Wilson. Our guest here in the third microphone in our booth is Bob Babich, a linebacker for the Cleveland Browns. Lives here in Strongsville and quite impressed with this ball game. Say something quick, Bob, so people don't think I'm lying.
Quick? No, I am. I'm impressed with the Wadsworth football team. You know, they're playing well both offensively and defensively.
Gets it away, pulling it in, close to the first down. Let's see where they force him out of bounds. Yanking that one in is Mark Matz, one of the split ends, and Tim Hofstetter, and a first down for the Mustangs. Big play. That may spark something in this young ball club.
The fans enjoyed it. They were a little stunned there in the second quarter when all the action went with the Wadsworth ball club. Here they came out now, kept the ball on the ground, a couple in the air, completed the pass. Maybe that offense is in gear.
And now Matz comes to the sideline, and Steve McCombs goes in at split ends, goes to the far side. Got a slot back to the wide side of the field. Power football straight up the middle, and here comes Joe Moscow. And now they're setting a good yardage. Geeson, Mikiak, and Slovic opening up some holes. Brad King in on that stop for the Grizzlies. That was a 6-yard pickup. That'll make it 2nd and 4. If you just joined us, it's a 34-0 ball game. Wadsworth on top, as Brian mentioned, doing all the scoring in the second quarter. And 9:39 in the third quarter. Strongsville took the kickoff, their own 15, and they're marching. Pitch back. This is Yonker. He's got speed. Boy, is he tough to bring down. Look at him move. What great balance. It finally took Number 82, Chris Finn, to bring him down, who was the left tackle, came up from behind. He was hit by John Dragovich, but just a super effort by Paul Yonker, National Honor Society student and a football captain.
Well, what a difference in the way the line is hitting out. The backs are sparked. Defensively, you know, it looks like the same defense that Wadsworth used the first half. Timeout by Wadsworth. That coaching staff, defensive coordinator, wants to get out and see what's going on out there. But I think you mentioned it, Slovic hitting out fast. Sabans, McComb, the whole team looks quicker. It looks like the movement is there. You never know what adjustments you make at halftime. We don't know up here. The coaches, just a little bit of adjustment on offensive blocking, a little bit of a slant here, a little movement in there, and sometimes things can get going. And Guy Wilson, number 1, looks a lot more confident now. He's playing the type of game we know he's capable of playing.
And this is the first time in my memory that Strongsville now is in Wadsworth territory. They've got the ball sitting to Wadsworth 45. And that Yonkers 2 carries, 27 yards. And that the entire Mustang team only had 26 yards offensively in the whole first half. Something else looks very glaring on the stat chart is the fact that Wadsworth is penalty-free.
Well, both teams were in that first quarter with 0-0 score, and then a couple of miscues for Strongsville. Wadsworth still playing airless ball.
And so now they've got the slot back Fronick and the end split McComb to the near side of the field. They're gonna let it fly, and they do. This is Yonker. He breaks the tackle. He could have broke it away. Saving that touchdown was Mike Held. Tom Fronick takes the pass from Wilson, broke one tackle at the 40 and gets all the way to the 30-yard line. And if Held had not brought him down, he could have broke it open for 6 points.
On the stop. First and 10 for the Mustangs.
Going in, Matz. Split end. Fronick comes out. McCombs goes in. Another big first down. They're going to throw again. Wilson is cut from behind and sacked. John Dragovich. Number 25, a junior. 5'4", 140 pounds. And he hits a lot heavier than that.
Second down for the Mustangs.
Well, Guy Wilson thinks so on that play.
Talk about getting him to the blind side, huh?
Yeah, those linebackers are all tough, Mike.
Mean fellas.
What else am I going to say?
He's talking about the big fellow behind me is Bob Babbage. Second down. Incomplete. He intended it for the flanker back, Tom Fronick. Back with him was Scott Brewer, the linebacker. But Wilson throws great deal of authority now. You're right, Brian. He should have some confidence. He's putting a lot of zip on that ball. Big third down play now. They've got 3rd and 15. After that quarterback sack, as Matz comes to the sideline. 8:39 remaining in the third quarter. Mustangs on the short end of a 34-0 score. It's going to be a screen pass and blocked that down by Chris Finn. 6'3", jumped up in the air, knocked that ball down on the screen pass.
By Finn. And it is 4th down for the
Well, not only are they big, they're tall. So they'll bring up a punting situation, I would assume, although they're on the 35-yard line. Let's see what they do. They're going to go for it. It's 15, 4th down, 15 yards to go. Wilson looks, plenty of time, yes! Broken up, intended for Matz, number 21. Broken up in there by Eugene Dragovich. That's John's brother, number 31, so the ball goes over on downs.
Like on the pass play, they had 2 wide men, the flanker and the end out to the left side, the top of the screen, just a crossing pattern with Matz coming across the middle. Quarterback Wilson tried in on the play. Good defense by the drop back, the defense of the Grizzlies.
So the Grizzlies will take over for the first time here in the third quarter. But 5.5 minutes possession time for Strongsville on that drive, but they were stalled at the 35, where Wadsworth takes over, first down. This is Reynolds tripped up. He tripped over, I think it was Petrie. But, you know, Reynolds trips and gets 3 yards. And now we have 16 carries for Reynolds with 92 yards.
Second down.
Thompson now in for Currents at flanker, far side of the field. And this is Steve Herndon, the new quarterback, number 10. Hands off, Reynolds picks his way. He's looking for room. Petrie had him by the ankle. He still dragged Petrie for about 5 yards, along with Mark White in on that stop. Reynolds now over the 100-yard mark as he gets just shy of the 50-yard line. Also in our booth, we have another celebrity. We'll have to ask for a few comments. We're talking about Tim Rogers, the fine writer from the Cleveland Press. Maybe we'll get Tim Rogers on microphone to see what he has to say about some of the fine teams and ball players he's seen so far this year. This is the fullback. McGill pounds his way to the 44-yard line. Tim was on the far side of the booth, and he was working very hard. You didn't hear the things I had to say about him, which is probably very good. But Tim, we were just talking about some of the fine ball players you've seen this year. There aren't many teams you'll see that exceed some of the overall talent that Wadsworth is displaying tonight.
No, I was just thinking, you know, we don't get to see teams like Wadsworth very often, and you wonder just how good, how well they would do against a team like, like a St. Ed's or a Solon or somebody, you know, that we know year in and year out is going to be, you know, a top-notch football team.
So Herndon gets his first pass. Tim goes off to Joe Barreiter, gets inside the 35, bringing him down was Mike Rizak. But they've got 2 great quarterbacks. Herndon, the senior. If my memory's correct, I think Herndon was their starter for a while. And then Rayner was a move in from out of town and came in, and about 3 games ago is when he started. This is Reynolds going to try and go outside. Slips 1 tackle. Straight arms. Gets around that corner and is driven out of bounds inside the 25 by Mike Rizak. Thompson, the flanker, putting a good block. That's one thing we're saying, I think, a great deal of, Bob, is the fact that their fullback and also their flankers do a good job of blocking.
They sure do. I think the whole team is doing it. They're moving Strongsville off the line and, of course, giving the running room for both the fullback McGill and tailback Reynolds. They're a very fine offensive football team. Strongsville's going to have to find a way to stop them, or it could be embarrassing for them.
Well, Wadsworth has got a first down from the Strongsville 24-yard line. Herndon goes deep. He's got him open. Touchdown! Nobody there to stop him. Dragging that one in is Lance Currents, the flanker. And he just beat everyone, got behind. Herndon just laid it out beautifully. And now it's a 40-0 ball game.
That's what happens when you have a good running offense. You could use the play pass and get those cornerbacks coming up for that force to stop the runner, and wide receiver slips back there. Happens to us every now and then, too.
And so Nuts is going to try for the point after. Lance Currents gets his first touchdown of the season, by my records. It's up. Good flag.
Extra point kick is good. Flag is on play.
Let's see who is going to be against. Now they're talking to Strongsville. I would assume it's going to be against Wadsworth as they chalk off 5 yards, which probably could be a holding penalty where it was thrown by the lineman. So they'll spot it at the 17.5 yard.
Holding, red, number 67.
Doug Snyder, right guard, holding. That's the first time in my recollection I can ever see a 15-yard penalty and a point after.
I've never seen one. So,
well, you've been around this quite a while, haven't you?
Yeah, a few years.
Herndon's going to roll out, and he's got Barreiter deep. Gets it. 2 points, it's good. And a Groover. The third quarterback threw that. Gruber threw it, Barreiter hauled it in. Rizak back there with him, but just too late.
It's nice to have a third-string quarterback come in and throw a 15-yard extra point.
That makes it 42, 10-0 with 6:14 to go in the third quarter. They don't take much to score. Now, we were talking about ball control. 2 minutes, 14 seconds. That's not much ball control.
No, they opened up a little. I was surprised, but of course, you have that great running game. It makes the passing game a lot easier.
64 yards?
Strongsville has to mount an offensive attack here. They're going to have to move the ball. They moved a little early in the third quarter. If they could keep that up now, get on the scoreboard.
Well, they did it with Yonkers and a few runs and a couple of good passes. And the knee touched again. That's twice that's happened. Rick Usatello. So the Mustangs will take it 1st and 10 from their own 16, 17-yard line.
Like, you know, I hate to say it, but it seems like, you know, if anything can go wrong for Strongsville, it's going to. They had the fumble, the 2 interceptions, the opening kickoff for the second half. Moscow caught the ball, immediately hit the deck. Now here, this kid gets his knee down. It's tough to get any momentum going, I would think.
Yeah, Finn, that was Yonker, I think, the ball carrier. Yonker, he's hit by Finn. But that's the play they picked up a big chunk of yardage last time he was in. Out comes McCombs, in goes Matz. You know, the one thing you've got to say about Wadsworth, though, 2 fumbles, 2 pass interceptions, and they scored on all of them.
Take advantage of the breaks. It's the name of the game.
This is Wilson, turns it upfield, no place to go. Bringing him down was a man who goes 2 ways, Barreiter. In fact, he's only one of 2 of the Wadsworth ball players that will go 2 ways.
Speaking of turnovers, I don't believe Wadsworth has had one yet, have they?
No penalties. 1 penalty, that 15-yarder, and they still scored the 2 points. And no other penalties. Strongsville's got a 3rd and 6. Wilson. McCombs, first down. They're close to it. Let's see. Hofstetter brought him down. Let's see if the officials spot it. It's going to be close. And they're going to bring out the chains. If they get this, maybe they'll give them a little momentum. They'll swing a little.
Well, to keep their
towards the
defense
Mustang.
off the field, which will
Yeah.
help. Can't play 75% of the game.
They're about an inch short.
Makes it
An
really
inch or
tough.
2. I'm certain they're going to go for it. Down 42 zip. Even though they're sitting on their own 30-yard line, just shy of the 30. "39-yard line they set it on. Holmes comes out. Matz goes in.
Wadsworth bringing in a goal line defense. I mean, it's hardly academic at this point.
Well, we better bring out the roster because I'm afraid they're going to be playing everybody in they brought down in this ball game.
You know all the names.
I've got them too deep, Tim. They brought in the 3rd string quarterback on us for their 2 points. First down. That was Moscow. Moscow gets it. Dunn brought him down, but you know, to see a team that's done as well as they have through 8 ball games, going undefeated, you want to see them get on the scoreboard.
Would help both, you know, the spirit of the team and give them a little confidence. Even though that might be a little late right now, but they need something for them.
Wadsworth has had, what, 3 or 4 shutouts this season. And an underthrown. Good play defensively by David Ludwig. He couldn't catch it, so he made sure that Don Noe did not catch it. Which I guess is the first thing you're supposed to do if you can't get it. Make sure the opposition doesn't.
Second down for the Mustangs. They're on the 34-yard line.
Going to be a 2nd and 10. Wilson again, and breaks clean. Big rush put on by Wadsworth. Wilson gets to the 38-yard line where Chris Finn brought him down.
Oh, thank you, Tim. Thrush Avenue Flash.
Thrush Avenue Flash. Listen, you've got to take credit for him. You had him in class.
That was biology.
Big 3rd and 5 now for the Mustangs. Wilson pitches back. This is Younger. Well, they strung that out. No place to go. That was Finn. And on that stop, along with Tim Hofstetter, number 22. So that'll be a funny situation. It's going to be 4th and long, about 8 yards.
Thank you.
This is Mike Ross punting back deep. We have Reynolds and Kearns. Nice snap. It gets it. Almost. Maybe it could have been tipped. Short kick, and it's going to take a Wadsworth bounce. Bounces back about 4 yards down to the 47-yard line.
The way it's going, what other way could it bounce?
That's right. When it rains, it pours. It's really an empty feeling when things like that happen also, because no matter what you try, it just doesn't work.
We've got Steve Herndon, who will be in a quarterback, number 10 for the Grizzlies. We still have Finn now, is going to be in at one of the ends. Barrider, number 8, is the other end. They still have Jim Reynolds in, and McGill is still in at fullback. Both ends in tight. This is Reynolds. Tries to scoot outside, uses that speed. Now, he should have been caught 3 yards back. He just very deceiving. Rezak finally forced him out. The defense did the right thing. They strung that out. He just picked his way, and he picked up about 7 yards.
Good running back. It's that intangible thing that good running backs have. They kind of glide, and that time he stopped, accelerates when he has to. He does it all.
Just have the knack to find the hole at the right time.
Yeah, it just seems, you wonder how they do it, and they just throw the step and glide into it.
120 yards now as McGill goes straight up the middle. Finds his way for a first down as he crosses the 45 to the 43-yard line where Mark Petrie brought him down. McGill now has 14 carries and 74 yards. McGill, of course, rather unheralded when you have a Jim Reynolds in the backfield. McGill is averaging better than 5 yards per carry for a fullback. The guys are getting a call for the tough yardage. First down. All right. McGill again, straight up the middle. Loose ball.
There's first break.
Big break. Recovered by Scott Hughes. Our Mustangs recover a fumble. Let's see now if they can get something going and convert on this.
That brings their fans alive up here because now they have a chance to get that offense going again. Fans from Strongsville, of course, have all stayed here. They're having their problems. Team not going very well, but you can see them here packed in at their stadium, cheering on their favorite team and hoping now that the offense will get in gear. Quarterback Guy Wilson will get the offense moving, get on the board against Wadsworth.
And so on that punt and that recovered fumble, they picked up 12 yards. They gave it up on the 36. Now they're on the 48. Pass throws to McComb. Pitch back. This is Moscow. And he is tripped up at the 40, falls forward to the 36-yard line. Tripping him up, Miller, along with Mike Hell. Hell just caught him by the ankle about the 40, and then He's brought down by Miller.
Well, we've seen more of that. Of course, that's the one in the high school likes to call a flea flicker. The pros here, this big guy next to me, they do it with the backfield when they do the lateral and so on. They got a tendency to call that a flea flicker now.
Right.
So I guess both of them have the terminology.
It's just a strange play, you know. It's
Yeah.
different. It's something unusual, so they give it a name.
Strongsville, first down, going to go deep. And Dickinson for Metz. Almost intercepted. Again, going back on that one was held. Also Don Noe. This is held.
Pass intended for Matz is incomplete. Second
Mark
down.
Matz. Ball just underthrown. He had his man beat. He had to slow down. Ball still at the 36-yard line. That's Wadsworth's 36. The deepest penetration for the Mustangs. And we've got 51 seconds remaining in the third quarter. Crossing pattern intended for McCombs, intercepted. Yanking this one in, Tim Hofstetter. Boy, did he play that one beautifully. He had McCombs, the end split, cutting across, stepping right in front of Hofstetter, picks it off.
Played them all alone. A lot of times in that wide set in high school, they have an inside man to kind of help out to take away the look-in pass. That time, 22 came across, took it all himself. Good athletes back there in all positions for Wadsworth.
It's a fine defensive play.
That's something else.
Strongsville's been using that slant pattern quite a bit, though, in the last two series, and I think they're going to have to change up a little and go some out moves and keep them honest.
Herndon, and it's still a quarterback. He started the second half, hands off to Reynolds. Reynolds runs into a crowd. Mark Petrie leads that crowd along with 44, Mark White, 32's Alvin, Kevin Schutte. Reynolds gets helped up.
Reynolds taking the ball, picked up about a yard, second down.
Boy, he looks bigger than 180 pounds as Reynolds goes to the sideline. 121 yards and 20 carries.
1, 2, 3, 4 touchdowns.
It's not a bad evening's work, is it?
And that ends the third quarter of play with a score. Wadsworth 42, Strongsville nothing.
Here are the winning numbers.